And we should be good to go.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of Worcester City Council, now being held Tuesday because of the celebration of Martin Luther King Day. It's on Zoom video conferencing and YouTube. It's January 19th, 2021, and it is after 7:30 p.m. The next council meeting will be Monday, February 1st, 2021. Mr. Paulo, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Ansel is absent. Mr. Bostancic, his chair is there. I'll come back to Mr. Bostancic.
There you go.
Mr. Cavan.
Here.
Mr. Myers.
Yeah.
Mr. Sanders.
Here.
Mr. Silvestri.
Here.
Ms. Warden.
Here.
And Mr. Bostancic?
Yeah, I have no computer audio. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
I'm not getting you guys at all.
That's a while.
Might have to dial in with your phone like I did.
Yeah.
I can't hear a thing here.
Phil, call. Use your phone. Call in on the number.
Call in.
Can
I'll
you?
send him a text.
Yeah, send him a chat.
Yeah,
I'll do that right now too.
all right.
Maybe he could check he might have his speaker muted.
Yeah,
Did you check your bot? Oh, he can't hear us.
yeah, we need to be holding up signs anyways. So despite Mr. Bostancic not hearing us, we do have a quorum this evening and the agenda will remain as presented. Hopefully Mr. Bostancic will notice that all of us will be about to stand up because I'm going to ask you to stand and join the members of City Council in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America
and to the
and
republic,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next item would be to approve the minutes of the January 4th, 2021 meeting. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
I saw Mr. Silvestri's hand go up and then I heard Ms. Warden's voice. So Mr. Silvestri
What
moved
number?
to approve the minutes and Ms. Warden seconded it. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Okay, the minutes of January 4th, 2021 have been approved. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. And don't let me forget that we have a nominee to be appointed the hospital board tonight. But meanwhile, we're looking forward to what you have to say to close out this January, at least in terms of formal council business.
There you go. Well, hopefully I've got some good news. I always try to figure out what is good to report and give you guys something to be happy about. The good news is our COVID numbers have been coming down in our hospital. As of today, we were around 11 people hospitalized, and the testing positivity rate is back to its sort of a normal range of about 5%. So it looks like we may have had a post-Christmas spike. It really wasn't as high as we had seen earlier in the fall of about 5%. So we are sort of holding in a good position right now in the community. It's still here, but at least we're not being overrun like you've seen in some other places of the United States. The other good news is the vaccine shots are taking place in our community. Right now, if you are trying to get on a schedule for a vaccination, there are 3 places in Worcester where you can get on those schedules. The first one is the Wayne County Health Department. I would suggest calling them and asking to be put on a schedule. They represent their office where they do vaccine shots, but they also represent the Worcester Community Hospital and Orville Dunlop Hospital. So those three are under the Wayne County scheduling auspices. The other two are Discount Drug Mart on Bell Avenue here in Worcester and Mark's Pharmacy on Portage Road at their Worcester store. So those are the three places that you can get on a scheduling list. And from my understanding, those lists are not being shared between the three entities. So if you want to make sure you're on a list, I would suggest contacting those three. Group 1A vaccinations are starting to wind down for the first dose. Working on rolling out the first dose for the 1B group of the general public. So that's usually a group over 65 years in age and older, and that will be the next group coming out according to the governor's guidelines. So that's the good news. We're pleased for that. Another thing to look forward to, I would like to set up 2 meetings for City Council. The first one is the Worcester Community Hospital Annual Report by Bill Sharon. I'd like to set it up after talking with Bill for Monday, February 1st from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And because the meeting requirements are 10 or less still, we are going to have to do that by a Zoom meeting. So for February 1st, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. The second I'd like to set up is the State of the City presentation to City Council. I'd like to present that on Tuesday, February 16th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. So just ahead of the council meeting again. And again, that would be via Zoom meeting. So those are the 2 that I would like to get on council schedule if there are no objections by council to doing that. And then as President Beitendijk suggested, I have brought forward a hospital board nominee for appointment. I am requesting City Council to approve my reappointment of Dr. Yvonne Williams to the Worcester Community Hospital Board of Governors for a 4-year term running from January 1st of 2021 through December 31st, 2024. Dr. Williams is the longest city board member on the hospital board and has had a long history of guiding our hospital through good times and bad over the years. She has been a true asset as a board member, and I would appreciate your acceptance of her as my appointment for the hospital board. And then finally, President Beitendijk has talked about setting up monthly sessions where individuals from the community can schedule a one-on-one meeting with a city council member and a member of the administration. We are making arrangements to set this up here at City Hall. Appointments will be able to be made through our city website or by calling the mayor's office at 330-263-5242. The meetings will be 8 times per year during the months of February through June and September through November on the Wednesdays between council meetings, alternating between noon and 5 p.m. meeting times. The first meeting will be held on Wednesday, February 10th, starting at 5 p.m. at City Hall. And you will need to have an appointment to be able to join that meeting. So please call the mayor's office if you have any questions concerning this, or watch our city website. Probably it'll take approximately this time next week until our website will be updated and ready to take those appointments. And so that is everything I got for you this evening, council members, and I'll turn it back over to you, President Beitendijk.
Mr. Beitendijk, I finally have audio now, so.
Well, it's nice to actually hear from you. I mean, we enjoyed seeing you, but your silence was deafening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate you announcing the rollout of our those monthly meetings. I look forward to it. People will have 10 minutes appointment slots, and they can come in and speak their mind to a member of council and administration. And obviously, if they have concerns that need to be researched, we will use our due diligence to do so. So again, thanks, Mayor, and thanks to council members for, I know you will all volunteer to fill a slot, and fortunately working for myself, despite the fact my boss is a tyrant, my schedule is somewhat flexible, so I can fill in when someone might not be able to handle that month. So thank you all. Before we go further, I would entertain a motion for the appointment of Dr. Yvonne Williams, who I've known for a long time, and she's an excellent board member for the city of Worcester, and she's been a great citizen of the city of Worcester, and we're lucky to have her living here and serving in her capacity on the hospital board.
I would do that.
All right, Mr. Cavan moved to appoint Dr. Yvonne Williams to the hospital board. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Warden. Why don't we just have a roll call vote, and that way you can register it in the minutes, and no one will have any question whether or not that someone's hand was up or not.
Okay, Mr. Bostancic,
Yes.
Mr. Cavan,
Yes.
Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Silvestri,
Yes.
Ms. Warden.
Yes.
All right, congratulations, Dr. Williams, and thank you for you being willing to serve yet another term. And I think that's a good choice, Mr. Mayor. So,
Thank you.
we don't have any petitions. How about communications from public there, Mr. Scavelli?
We have none at the moment. If you want to put out that call for now, we can maybe wait a minute and see if we get any, but we don't have any currently.
Okay. Well, I'll just point out there's no committee reports and no public hearings, and there's no unfinished business. And because this is the Craig Sanders show and Mr. Ansel had nothing to say, I think in fact he was feeling under the weather. There was it was a good time to catch up on his rest. So.
Hey, if I could take a moment I'd like to clarify the mayor's State of the City Zoom meeting. When was that? Tuesday, February?
Yeah, because of President's Day is that Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can be there. You can be online Monday, but none of us will be here.
And that was at 6:30?
Yes,
Yep.
6:30 to 7:30.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We'll send out the usual Zoom invites and stuff. So, and I'll
Great.
put a hold on your calendars for you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
As much as I admire Bill Sharon, the one good thing about the Zoom meeting is we can leave when his allotted time is up, whether he's finished or not. And you can tell him that.
There you go.
I am gonna miss the nice dinner they usually give us, though.
Well, that's right. That's right. And that one section of that a new edition is always a nice place to gather. And maybe some year, some decade, there might be the old normal revisited. But at the moment, it doesn't look like any time soon.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question about the vaccine rollout that you spoke about.
Uh-huh.
I shared the flyer that was in our packet.
Mhm.
I am hearing feedback. Anyhow, I was alerted that there are no vaccines available yet. Do you have any idea when those are going to be?
You're getting some bad feedback there, Jen. I'm not sure, but I think you're wondering that you've heard there no vaccine is still available, and when will the next batch come? We're really at the graces of the rollout of the vaccine from the federal government. So I think we got 900 doses this last time, divided up between the hospitals and the health department and the other two entities, Drug Mart and Marks. So they are going quick. I think there were something like 6,000 people wanting to register for a vaccine, and we only had about 900 doses. So that's why I said I would get your name on really all three lists if you want a vaccine. So.
We have no, Mr. President, we have no communications from the public.
Okay. Then we're all the way down to new business. The first ordinance is 2021-02, presented by Mr. Sanders. It is slated for 3 readings. Mr. Paulo, would you please read the title?
Ordinance number 2021-02. An ordinance amending various sections of the codified ordinances of the city of Wooster, Ohio, in order to incorporate a recent change to the charter of the city of Wooster.
Hold on real quick. Does somebody have maybe 2 screens going and maybe watching it on YouTube and have the volume up or anything? So if there's anybody, does anybody have any sound of talking going on in their background at all? Because, okay. All right. I'm sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
I'm done reading. Did you guys get to hear it or not?
Yeah, we got to hear it. Thank
Okay.
you. I was just about to say, Mr. Sanders, the floor is yours. And I will point out, these were all voted by the general public in the general elections. So it isn't something that we've put together. It was on the ballot and approved by a majority of the voters in the city of Worcester. So the floor is yours there, Mr. Sanders.
Well, thank you, Mr. Beitendijk. There's nothing else to talk about. No, the first ordinance, this particular ordinance was basically a cleanup in language related to our regularly scheduled meetings. The verbiage that was changed by the Charter Commission basically just cleaned it up so that it read meetings may be scheduled in the month of July and August, determined by the mayor and president, but are not required. Any meeting of council may be canceled if, as determined by the mayor and the council president, there is no business before council. That's the part that was changed. As Mr. Beitendijk spoke, this was voted on in November by the residents of the city and was passed by a majority. At this point, with this particular item, I would motion to suspend the rules of council and place this on 3rd and final reading. You're muted, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. A motion to suspend the rules has been proposed by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Mr. Cavan. Mr. Paulo, would you call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Gavin,
Yes.
Warden,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Silvestri,
Yes.
and Bostancic.
Yes.
Okay, the rules are suspended. I look to you again, Mr. Sanders.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Myers. I'll point out that the way the charter read, even if there was no business before council, we were required to have a council meeting if it was one of the ones scheduled, unlike the ones that during our hiatus. So this gives at least discretion not to hold a meeting when there's no business. That doesn't happen very often, but I know a couple of times it has in my tenure. Anyone else? Seeing nothing, Ms. Tapala, would you please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Cavan,
Yes.
Warden,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Silvestri,
Yes.
Bastancik.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2021-02 has passed. Ordinance number 2021-03, again, will be presented by Mr. Sanders. It's scheduled for 3 readings. Again, it deals with items that were voted in with regard to changes in the city charter. Before I get back to you, Mr. Sanders, I'll look to Ms. DiPaolo to please read the title.
Ordinance number 2021-03, an ordinance amending various sections of the codified ordinances of the city of Wooster, Ohio, in order to incorporate a recent change to the charter of the city of Worcester.
Mr. Sanders, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first part of this legislation has to do with a section number in the charter that was changed from section 4.04 to 4.03. And that is affecting the codified ordinance section 125.01, director and deputy divisions. The second part of this legislation has to do with the codified ordinance 127.01, which is director duties. And the change that's implemented is that the director of law shall be appointed in accordance with section 4.04 of the charter of the city of Worcester. Evidently that part of it was not in previously and was added by the charter commission. And again, based on the fact that this was all voted on by the residents of the city, I would motion to suspend the rules of council and place this on third and final reading.
Motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Silvestri. Ms. DiPaolo, would you call the roll on the suspension motion to suspend the rules?
Cavan,
Yes.
Warden,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Silvestri,
Yes.
Bastancik.
Yes.
Rules are suspended. Mr. Sanders?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Silvestri. Any questions? Does this mean that Mr. Scavelli's been serving without the proper appointing authority?
No, it was just not very clear the way the charter read previously. And the section for the finance director pointed back to section 4.04. The law director one didn't. And so where it was correct and I and previous law directors were appointed properly, it just wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
And made it more clear.
Just pulling your leg there, Mr. Scavelli. I'm sure your paycheck is still secure. Anything else? Seeing none, Ms. DiPaolo, would you call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Cavan,
Yes.
Warden,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Silvestri,
Yes.
Bastancik.
Yes.
All right, the ordinance number 2021-03 passes. Brings us to our last piece of legislation. It will be presented by Mr. Sanders, and like the other previous ones, it deals with changes to the charter of the city of Worcester. If you would, Mr. Paulo, would you read this ordinance number 2021-04?
Ordinance number 2021-04. An ordinance amending various sections of the codified ordinances of the city of Wooster, Ohio in order to incorporate a recent change to the charter of the city of Wooster.
Mr. Sanders, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. This particular piece is relating to a lot, it's all hospital related. A vast majority of the changes were taking the word administrator of the Worcester Community Hospital and changing that to chief executive officer. That particular change occurs multiple times, at least through the first 3 pages of the legislation. The other change that occurs with this is originally it said Deputy Finance Director for Hospital Affairs, and that has been changed to the Vice President of Fiscal Services related to the hospital. As we continue on through the 3rd page, there's an ad for a section piece, which evidently must have been omitted. The term president has been now changed to chairperson. And the big piece of most of this was the fact that the appointments to the Worcester Community Hospital Board of Governors are specifically exempted from any limit on the number of years they may serve. While each individual who serves has a 4-year term, the number of terms are not limited as we are in our other boards within the city. And we go on further to, again, changing from administrator to chief executive officer. And really, I guess the large piece of this was the change in section C of 943.01 related to a definition and explanation of the Vice President of Fiscal Services as the Chief Financial Officer of Worcester Community Hospital. It goes on from there, but at this point, it's somewhat redundant to read it. And again, this is all information that went through the election process. It was voted on, and with a majority vote. And with that, I would suspend the rules of council and place this on 3rd and final reading.
Motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Warden. Ms. DiPaolo, would you please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Danzig,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Silvestri,
Yes.
Warden.
Yes.
The rules having been suspended, I look to you, Mr. Sanders, for a motion.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bostancic had his hand up just before you put yours up there, Mr. Silvestri. Any further discussion? I only point out one because I thought it was odd that there's a bit where some liability insurance is to be paid out of our general fund for, what is it, the chief financial officer?
Yes, it is. It'd be for the, it would be probably for the Vice President of Fiscal Affairs.
Okay. I just thought it was odd that our own general fund would be paying something that was with regard to the hospital. But hey, if the voters voted for it, I'm not going to question it. I just thought it was curious.
Was that section in red or was that in black?
It was in red.
Okay, let me find where it's at so I can explain it. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it was in red, though.
Yeah, that was a change, Mike.
Yeah.
Because where that comes from, I believe, is the fact that for certain purposes, they operate as they operated as a deputy finance director, and I think that's where that came from.
Okay. Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Okay.
Anyone else have any comment? Seeing none, Mr. Paula, would you please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Bastancik,
Yes.
Myers,
No.
Sanders,
Yes.
Silvestri,
Yes.
and Warden,
Yes.
and Cavan.
Yes.
All right. Ordinance number 2021-04 passes. And that will move us to the miscellaneous portion. And we'll start with, since you're at the bottom right of my screen, Mr. Myers, I'll give you the first word.
Nothing further to add this evening. I hope Mr. Ansel feels better soon.
Yeah. Mr. Bostancic,
Nothing further either.
Mr. Sanders,
I have nothing further other than to state, I've talked with Mr. Scavelli about this, but the February 1st meeting, I will be in transit and will be unable to attend both the pre-council meeting and the council meeting itself.
all right. Your presence will be missed. Mr. Silvestri
Nothing to add this evening, but thank you.
and Mr. Cavan, I guess we'll give you the last word here.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Mr. No truer words have been spoken. I congratulate you. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Cavan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Silvestri. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, and it looks like we at least made it through most of January. So we're off to a good start here in 2021. So thank you all for attending, and look forward to seeing you on the 1st, if not sooner.
And if I can just, everybody that, like I said, just to finish up on that, so I checked and I was right. We did not add anything about insurance. That section just changed the name again. But the reasoning for that was because they did operate as a deputy finance director. And that's why that was there. We didn't actually make any changes to that.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Bye, one and all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.